Hello everybody, how are you? It's Sunday evening here in Greece. We have a sunny day and I was out in the balcony enjoying the sea view, and then I thought it was a good day and a good hour to do a video, and then I will upload it on the channel too, about the upcoming entrance of Uranus in the sign of Gemini, which is in 4 days. We have a very interesting aspect, very important aspect of Mars conjuncting Saturn in Aries. It's an aspect that hasn't happened for 30 years. And we have the ruler of Aries, which is Mars, conjuncting Saturn, which is the father, the teacher. And it has to do with the masculine energy, because Aries is a masculine sign. And so this aspect is very important to truly see the masculine energy within this 30 years of time. Now, masculine energy is not only within men, it's also within women. And the masculine aspect is also the structure in the world, in the world today. Have this structure mature? Have they changed? And how we are perceiving reality, because the masculine aspect of the soul is equally important as the feminine. But the masculine aspect, we have to understand that it was created from source as equal, because the soul has both aspects, both expression, but in the physical, which is Aries and Saturn, the masculine is born through the womb, through the feminine womb. And it is very important how we define the relationship, first with our sons, for those of us who have male children, but also for the women who haven't yet, or they haven't at all children, how they define their relationship with the masculine in general, but also the masculine within them. As you might watch around the world, the masculine aspect is still very much aggressive. And this is part of the unexpressed anger, the unprocessed emotion, but also and mainly the abuse of power. The abuse of power was first created in Atlantis. And this is one of the greatest wounds of humanity. Maybe the worst. And dealing with that, dealing with the abuse of power, and bringing harmony and balance first within and then with the outer is very important for living in a world of peace. Many, they don't actually believe that that is realistic. And I want to address something that has to do also with the part of self-knowledge and manifestation techniques and the so-called gurus and teachers. They demand beneath the surface the word power in manifesting, the word force. They are implying that you have to push, you have to succeed, you have to conquer. I use words and I will connect why I'm using that. They are using competition vocabulary. They are using fight terms and they cover them with smooth words. But underneath there is the implication, I succeeded. I need a goal. I need something that I can prove my worth through it. We have to understand that this is a masculine way of existence, but according to these kind of teachings, which are bringing resources and viewers and all of that to support the words. In common terms, the more you try, the better you will become, and the more money you will have, and the more success you will have. There is a fine line behind power, force, and love. When you are acting out of the need to prove, to accomplish, to be measured in any kind or form, you apply force. And this is Aries, this is Mars. Meditating for years, my higher self was telling me, because I'm also a projector, and he needed to explain that to me, but also for manifesting generators, it's the same. Because manifesting generators are creators, and projectors are teachers, are projecting. They are here to guide others. I know that I'm here to guide others. Force and power are false indication of being successful. And this is a program that first created in Atlantis for certain reasons. When it got out of control, because power and control are united. The Western Hemisphere is still and the whole world for that matter, is still suffering from that. But you have to understand this is a program that is rewired in the root chakra. And for transitioning to the new era, we have to rewire our root chakra. That's why we are saying we are moving in a new root race. It's obvious. We are moving in a new root race. But you aren't going to move to that new era or the root race unless you deal with your root chakra. And the root chakra is ruled by Saturn and Pluto. And here's what's happening right now. Saturn in Aries is sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. They are both rulers of the root chakra. Pluto is liberating us from the old belief if we work with it, and it is in the cross of enlightenment, which is the cross of the fixed signs. And Saturn in the energetic cross, the cross of spirit, is helping us to rewrite our beliefs, because Aries has to do with the head and the nervous system. So these planets, first ray Pluto, third ray Saturn, co-working, collaborating together, they are helping the mass consciousness from one point releasing the old, and from that point rewriting. This will take time, of course, because Pluto is going to stay in Aquarius for the next 20 years, and Saturn is going to stay until the end of 2028. This is coming in cycles. But for now, this aspect last happened in 1996. So for those of you that you remember yourself 30 years ago, go back and see if you have changed the masculine aspect in you, how you perceive power, what is forcing you to do, what is your motivation. This is very important, especially if you have planets or the lights in one of the four signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Because this is affecting you especially. Now, why am I starting a video about Uranus talking about Saturn and Mars? I will explain that. Uranus in Gemini has to do with the opposites, with Gemini. Gemini is the constellation through which, the only constellation through which love wisdom is passing and coming into our solar system. Love and wisdom is the ray of our solar system, and Uranus there, which is the seventh ray, is showing how we can unite the opposites, a new way. Practically this in our body, it happens in the third eye. It's the only place, and the crown chakra, it's the only place within our body where the opposites are united. And we have a common vision, the third eye. All the other body, because the Gemini rules the etheric body, and we have the physical body. And Uranus is going to connect the etheric body, which is the light body, with the physical body. That's why I'm talking and I'm speaking about the new template, the new architecture. The physical body, your physical body, is the body of your ancestors. It's not yours. It is rewired and it is operating, because it's an operational machine, through your ancestral line, through the program of your ancestors. That's why the moon is ruling this body. It's coming from your maternal and paternal line. Rewriting your connection between your etheric light body and physical body, you need Uranus. You need to rewire that connection in a new way. That's why you are practicing manifestation, affirmation, and all of that. Yet, the connection point between Uranus and between etheric body and physical body through Uranus, it's truly understand how the seventh ray is working. And the seventh ray works with an illusion that has to do with Neptune in Aries, that these two forces, the masculine and the feminine, are different when they are not. It's the same. But you are used to consider them as different. And so you have the masculine creating a world of force, and you have the feminine creating a world of love. Of course, these are assumptions. These are assumptions. They aren't actually happening until the moment that you have united these opposite up till now forces into one. And this is exactly what Uranus in Gemini is going to do. It's going to show, but practically, not theoretically, that there is no duality. Duality is part of an educational system that was valid upon Earth. Gemini rules duality. It rules also the third house in astrology, which is the elementary school. In other words, duality is basic. It's for very young people or immature, which is the shadow aspect of Gemini. That's why I am connecting the aspect of Saturn with Mars in Aries that last happened 30 years ago. And I'm referring to those of you that you have experiences 30 years ago. Because unless you have matured in identifying your masculine aspect and your feminine aspect, and you have combined them in one unified action field or emotional driven action, you are still learning through duality, through your relationship, through your lack of something, through your work, but you are still learning. Because the exoteric proof that you are united within is total peace. Is total peace. You don't force, you love. And you are doing what you love. You are not saying one thing and do another. You don't say, I love, I don't know, painting, but I know that painting doesn't bring me money, so I have to do something else. That's not valid. That's separation. And you will be forced to change. Because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. And you are going to change the way you see it the next 7 years with Uranus in Gemini. And Uranus in Gemini is in a mutable sign, and the mutable cross is all about, as I said before, education, which is part of the second ray. And another thing, you have to know your race. I will not stop saying that. You have to know your own blueprint. What ray are you? Not every ray has the same lesson. We have to understand that Gemini is about education. And unless you know in which ray you belong, your blueprint, you cannot know how to use these energies. A second ray monad doesn't have any problem with love. But the third ray will have to know it, will have to educate itself. A first ray is even harder. And because we have already entered the Aquarian age, it's all about soul tribes. And so, if you are forcing yourself in groups, in works, in structure, let's talk about it generally. If you force yourself in environments where you don't belong, you won't have success, and you will believe that this is your fault when it's not. But you have chosen to remain ignorant about the new education, about educating yourself. It's not about knowledge in general. This is also a shadow side of Gemini. We are living in the era of knowledge, but we don't have wisdom, which is part of the second ray. Because wisdom is to identify and to know what it is for you and what it's not. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to scroll in thousands of videos. You just need to know about yourself, about your individuation. Uranus will be in trine to Pluto. That's a very good aspect. Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini. And so, this is a totally new landscape. Totally new landscape to navigate. But you have to have a GPS. You have to have put new coordinates. You have to have, as I said before, a unified vision. And unless you have mastered certain certain laws, you cannot move forward. You have to know what power is, what love is, What is your motivation? How do you practice that? How your body, your nervous system, Gemini is ruling the nervous system. The two pillars that you have inside of you, it's your mother and your father. But Gemini is the child. So, from what pillar are you acting or reacting? And the soul is in the middle. And the soul is the truth. That's why you have to know your soul ray. All this that I'm sharing is a preparation. I'm a second ray. I'm a born teacher. And I am a projector too. I'm here for that. I am trained for that. And all the program that I have is about knowing you, specifically you, in this era, which is an era of individuation. It's not an era of going to a stadium and listen to one person talking to 50,000 people saying one sentence. No, it's not about that. You think that you are that. That was Atlantis. It's not now. This is a new root race. You have to know about you. You have to study you. And from that point, choose your relationship, your partner, your work, everything, even where you live in the world. Do you know your astrocartography? Do you know that you have to be in a certain place upon Earth? That's all is coming from your map and your race. Up till now, it was a karmic era that we have finished, the era of Pisces. But now we have entered the era of Aquarius. The era of Aquarius is the era of occultism. It's not mysticism anymore. This is all about new knowledge. If you are still trapped in your traumas, which by the way aren't yours, they are a reflection of a past life. They are a reflection of your wounding through your family of origin, from your parents. You cannot enter the new era with hollow etheric body. You cannot. Uranus will directly point the wound, will directly bring the wound to the surface. Because Uranus is like the lightning ball. And this energy, if the physical body and the nervous system isn't prepared, it can be dangerous. It can, truly. And I will remind you, the first day that Uranus enter Aries in 2011, on March, we had the Fukushima accident in Japan. This is a force of lightning that it cannot be controlled. And so the inner paths, the inner gates must be open. Otherwise, they can create physical problems, strokes, or imbalances in the nervous system, imbalances in many areas. So it's imperative that you and everybody is prepared for that. I have uploaded also the first video that in my channel where I'm talking about Uranus. This is the second one. Of course I will be talking about that many times in the future, but right now, because we have 5 days before Uranus enters and the impact is important, and because we have this very, very important after 30 years aspect between Saturn and Mars, where we are crossing a checkpoint in mastery, I have chosen to do this video. I hope you enjoy it. You can subscribe to the channel on YouTube to receive more information, because I upload most of the videos now on the channel, and you can have, of course, codes or anything that you might want to know about your race. Thank you very much and have a great week. It will certainly be very interesting. Bye.